was the lullaby.
It's my 10 o'clock.
Right.
There.
I'm like Pavlov's dog. I'm trained to fall asleep when lullabies start going.
It sounds like an ice cream truck. It might be because of after 75 hard, all I'm thinking about is ice cream, chocolate, pizza.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was telling Boomy the well, I didn't say it live, but the 75 hard
I'm gonna just...
is on. All right, we are live. A minute early.
A minute early, because that's how we do things.
Yeah, early is late.
Wait,
I'm on
what
gas.
is the actual saying? I think it's like
Early is on time, or early is
early
late.
is on time. Yeah.
All right, we're getting some guests.
Yay.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, I should make a couple people co-host as we're chatting. Hey, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Hi. Hello. Wait.
How are
Can you
you?
hear me?
Are you on Lanai?
I am not. I'm on Maui.
Ah, okay. I'm gonna make some co-hosts here as we go. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Short-term notice, but you are definitely on our hot list to get your message out, Molly.
Yay.
Hey, Javide.
Hey,
How you doing?
hi everyone.
Hi.
All right. So Molly, you may be inundated by a bunch of us who are already part of this Ohana or community, and we hope that you stay with us for short and long term. But this week we're chatting about the diversity of our messages and sharing a little bit about our story, and then kind of going from there on making sure that you know that your voice matters and that your message and all that you're doing. And you and I have spoken as well for a while on all that your life has been and all that you are still at to accomplish in this world.
Yay.
All right. So team, you guys are also co-hosts, right? Do you see, does that mean you can see the waiting room if it pops up?
I think so.
Okay, well, we'll see. All right. So,
Where do you want to start?
well, the format is a little bit of our story and then any Q&As. So Molly, Chabade, or anyone, we're gonna just kind of free form with questions kind of after. But the purpose of this week is really to share our messages of why we want to make a difference in the world, a little bit of our origin story, and really encouragement on building community and support and accountability around getting our message out to the world. We all joined Martin, Giselle, Kayla, Boomy, and I on this journey since May or before, but the continuing thread was that we wanted to make a difference. Our lives before and our lives after look so completely different, and how we want to make sure that that message is not a stumbling block or a limitation for people. Chavade is my accountability partner too, so you're surrounded by support here, Molly. And then a bunch of you that will listen later or are watching, because I know a lot of my Ohana is at work right now, but that's part of the story. Is for me, this journey and this transition started about my message not really making a difference. I was in corporate and I had made it, right? I was traveling all around the world, going to Fiji, Jamaica, Florida, Utah, and opening luxury 8-figure spas, running teams of 200 plus, And then Molly knows because she was with me, we were working 16-hour days and we weren't sleeping, and it was a sleep deprivation contest. And I was proud that I always was the winner. Yeah, and a colleague said, "Hey, I'm losing this contest." And instead of feeling compassion at the time, I was like, well, just hit it hard, make it happen. This is what we're getting paid the big bucks for. This is why we get to, be in luxury 5-star hotels and take care of people. And just historically, my family came from samurai. So we thought that sacrifice for honor was the highest calling, right? If we could die so that someone else was taken care of, or the message was out there, then that was what was the ultimate in life. And until I sat across the dinner table from my brother and he said, "Sharon, you're an addict." And it stopped me in my tracks. Until that moment, I thought I was the successful one. I was the one that my family could rely on or look up to or be proud of. And when he sat across the table from me, I got offended. I said, that might be other people in our family, but that's not me. He said, "Sharon, you're addicted to work." And I couldn't breathe, because every other moment leading up to that, my parents having passed both in the last 10 years, and now being the matriarch of the family and thinking again that service was the highest calling, that word addiction just stopped me, because I was justifying it. I was celebrating that addiction. I was saying that it's okay to sacrifice everything because, I was in the spa and wellness world. I was helping other healers live their dreams. I was promoting other managers, and yet I was leading them to the slaughter and to another life where now that we look at this season, right, it's what do they have to show for all of their sacrifice, all of their long hours, all of their family dinners that they've missed? And I looked at my kids, 3 and 6, and I realized that I wasn't going to be that cat's in the cradle, right? And so from that moment, I hugged my brother. I started this journey, and it's been tough. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a year of mindset shifting from a good corporate soldier to a, entrepreneur that has dreams and lifestyle freedom. And, my daughter's off this week, and we're going to go and do a staycation tomorrow. So that's the short and long of the story. But I have a dream and I have a passion that people are as free and powerful and supported as they need to be as we move in this journey. And during these tough times, I've seen, it's the 5 primal fear reactions, right? Yeah, Caleb, it's like not just fight or flight, but I see so many people freezing in their tracks. And then there's the COVID-19, they're feeding, right? Or there's the flirtation, they're trying to garner relationships that are false because they think that they need someone else to make them strong economically, personally, but it's not. It's in giving freely, in serving our people, in sharing the message that we are so solid and powerful and free in our own lives, and together as a community, we can support each other. And that's where this group came together, was in the diversity of who we're bringing together, that every message is so powerful and transformative. It's why we're all here. So thanks.
Sharon,
so that's the message. Go ahead.
I would love for you to take me down that journey of getting involved with AYR, like getting involved with the people, Pat and Pete, who helped us clarify our message. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it actually started a couple of years ago. And so I was sitting, and part of this future for me is being vulnerable in the pitfalls, right? So I was sitting in my home office, slightly brave enough to have exited corporate, and I had a few projects under my belt. I worked at a hospital, improving patient care, because that's a traumatic space that we endured with my dad's sickness. And then going and flying with Molly to Lanai and opening luxury property. So I was still in the mindset, although I was on my own. And I had promised my kids that I would be away no more than 8 days out of the month. And I looked at my calendar and I was home 8 days out of the last month and a half, including travel days. And I was like, this is not going to work. And so I was stewing in my office. I literally had spent about a week and a half on building my empire, but on Minecraft, because I was trying my little, trying my projects. But I mean, it's a journey as a mindset of entrepreneur, right? So I would do my SAM, my sales and marketing plan, and then I would do my strategic plan, and then those weren't working. So I got to do something. I'm a doer. So I would work on Minecraft and build a village. And then, so that was the fun and crazy part of the journey, Giselle. But then my business coach, who is amazing. And if you don't have a coach in every arena of your life, right? Family, this is what Pete teaches us: family, faith, business, you are missing something. And so the gap for me was first on entrepreneur and entrepreneur mindset. And so my business coach is Virginia Muskis. She is the referral diva. And so she truly builds authentic referral, business by referral to six-figure business. So she's been coaching me, and then I got pixeled into a Shanda thing, got pixeled in. And so if you guys know Pixels, it's just, they tag you that you're starting to look at personal development and you're starting to be interested in these things. And I found Pete's Rise Up World Challenge. He serves so deeply with so many brains and influencers and inspirational people from all walks of life. And that was the journey. And then I met all of you and I couldn't stop. I'm now an entrepreneur addict. So that was
I love that. I don't know if anybody else, because I have a million questions. Like I told you, I'm going to hold back until today to ask you everything. Get ready, Caleb, you're next. But I mean, I'm also curious about were you nervous because I was petrified to put my story out there. I speak all the time being a branding coach, but it's funny when it's the hat's on you, right? When you're have to put yourself out there. What was your journey like when you had starting with the whole signature talk, clarifying your message?
Yeah, I have challenges with brevity and clarity because I as an extrovert, I can talk around everything. And then people say, great, so that was so interesting. Now, what were you actually trying to say? So what I loved about this program and the community is that you have so many talents from everyone. And to clarify my message, the biggest hurdle that I had, actually number one was tech, because speaking wasn't the challenge for me, but it was tech. And then number two was the ICA, right? Or the ideal client avatar, because as many healers, or actually all of us that want to help the world, we want to help the whole world, right? And so it's tough to then say, well, if I could only help one person, who would that be? And after that one person, that becomes 2 people, and that becomes 5 people, and that becomes 100 people, right? And so how to be so specific is really what I learned. But it's like that bullseye. If you can shoot for the bullseye, then you're gonna hit the board, right? But if you try to hit the board, then you're gonna fly off the wall. And so those are the things about my message that I needed. Good. What else? It's
Oh, Giselle, you letting me go next here?
learned, but it's like that bullseye. If you can.
Uh-oh.
Because I'll take over, and we don't want that. Everybody.
Sharon, I want to dig into the family dynamic. Much like myself, you're a family gal, you're a mom. You said your kids are ages 3 and 6, correct?
Yep.
So obviously, in your mama's heart, you don't want to neglect the kiddos. You want to be there for them. And this whole dynamic of, okay, you got to be a good stay-at-home mom, or you got to go be this workhorse in the entrepreneurial arena, as you have so eloquently shared with us. As we're watching our world pivot and change, and all of us came together to do that as well, right? Pivot and adapt in our own ways. Can you talk to us a little bit about that dynamic that was going on in your heart and head, where you begin to recognize, okay, not only do I have the opportunity to get my message out there in the better way, but here's an opportunity for me to find this dynamic, right? Where I can be the mom I want to be. I can show up for my kids powerfully, but I can also show up for the world powerfully. If you would just expound a little bit on what was going on in your head at the time that you kind of began this journey.
Ooh, to begin the journey, it is exactly that, Caleb. It's those seeds of hope, right? That I think I can do this. I can be the entrepreneur and the mom and have a lifestyle and financial freedom. And all I can say is once you plant the seeds, it just takes patience, watering, and determination. I mean, it's grace and grit. And you have to trust, right? So this is the faith that it will pay off and it will be a garden of abundance as you grow. And it's actually what I coach on, because as many of us that are type A's, that are doers, entrepreneurs, we're trying to juggle all the balls in the air. But it's about putting those rocks in, or putting the alignment into everything that you do. So it's not two different, faces of Sharon or two different faces of Caleb. It's the same, right? It's mom, entrepreneur, travel the world, lifestyle freedom. It's all the labels as expanding facets of who you are, versus you have to try to compartmentalize or juggle everything. And so that's really, I think, a critical part of the journey of clarity as you become a successful entrepreneur, or those of us with our message that it's like, well, I'm doing really good in this one arena of my life, but that I can't be a speaker, kind of back to Giselle's point, because that's not me. Well, it is you, right? You're speaking your message to your kids. You're speaking into their lives. You're emulating who you want to become. You're speaking your message to your friends. So it's a different step, but the only thing that's holding you back is your mindset saying that you can't do it, or that's not the part of me that I can own. Because the whole thing about entrepreneurship is growth in discomfort, right? We have to bracket what we know and then step outside of that bracket to say, oh, well, what's possible? But if we're in the mindset and we can't see outside of it, that's why we need community. That's why we need these diversity of voices to say, yes, you can. You did it already. You just did it in another realm, right? So I took that nugget, but does that answer your question, Caleb?
It does. So what's the one thing that you would say to other mothers who are kind of sitting on the fence? They're at home. Maybe they've been sidelined because of this global crisis, but they have those hopes. They have those dreams. What would you say to them to just get them out of that comfort zone?
I would say that I am giving you $1 billion, right? Because this personal development space is $1 billion. And if money was not an issue or time was not an issue, they already know what's in their heart. They already know what they would do to make a difference in their kids' lives, in their world. And if money is no longer on the table, then the fear goes away, right? So it's not the solution, but it's the seed that they already have in them. Because most moms want to look outside of, like, I now labeled myself mom, so I can't be badass mom. I can't be business owner, right? But it's already there, because if they didn't have the question or the hope or the dream or the thought, then they wouldn't find it. But it's already there and they don't have to find it. They just need to take the worries away. So just sitting in with your best anthem song on, feeling that celebration of the $1 billion that you just been given, because that's the personal development space that we all have the opportunity in, and know what that message is.
Love it.
Oh yeah, Molly, you got it. Well, it's the courage, right? Molly said that love taking the money out of the equation, and it's true. It's that courage that you know is inside of you, but you let the world tell you that courage is not going to work, or that courage is going to fail, or something else is more important. But what is more important than you? I mean, that was my dad's lesson, is if you have a foundation of strength, if you know that you can conquer the world, then you've put that air mask on yourself and you can help others. You can help your kids, right? But if you are sitting there uncertain or scared, and you're trying to save everyone else, you're grasping around you, that's where you can't breathe. And if you can't breathe, then you can't move in the world. I love it, Boomy. We're the currency that attracts.
Come on.
All right. We have probably one or two more questions.
Boomy, why aren't you saying it out loud? Why are you, nobody can see the chat except us. Come on, Boomy. Come on. Yeah, I can't hear you.
Duplicating it on Facebook, so I'll work it out.
Yeah,
But Sharon, I want to
hear your magic.
Sharon, I want to know more about your. I'm really intrigued by your samurai story. You spoke about your tradition, your family tradition, and how that played into how you saw the world, right? Because we all have these stories that we follow in our families, and some work for us, some don't work for us. But even as we are trying to figure out what works for us and doesn't, we have to figure out how to retell that story in a way that allows us to extend the legacy, right? So past just what we receive, it's like now how we take that and extend it so it makes sense for our children and their children and their children. So tell me about the story, tell me a story about that in your family, that tradition, and tell me how it serves you currently, how you would tell it to your children. How does the story serve your children?
Thank you, Boomy. Yeah, the story that I tell is when I got kicked out of the house by my family. It's so interesting. You don't know the limitations of the culture that's placed on you until you hit the edges of it, right? So I would say it's about exploring your edges. I was sitting and I had gotten my first consulting gig, and it was to fly off to Fiji to open a luxury spa and teach women who were the first person in their generation to have a job in their families, to teach them how to promote themselves, to sell luxury when they didn't even understand it themselves, right? And it was life-changing. And I sat at Zippy's, Martin knows Zippy's, and Molly. So Zippy's is the best family restaurant in Hawaii. You have to go visit. I sat there and my mom and dad were telling me that I was taking too big a risk, that I should go and as a Japanese be a teacher, a lawyer, or a flight attendant were my options. And that in taking this risk, it was too much. That why don't I stay in my safe job as a manager at the spa and just do my thing, right? And I told them, I said, you said that I could be whatever I wanted to be. And now I have this chance and my boss believes in me. Why can't you believe in me, right? And it was my fear talking. And my dad, being the traditional Japanese male, he said, well, if your boss believes in you, you go live with him. And I was like, and I was, I think 21 years old, having this great opportunity. And we both stopped because we're both very strong individuals. And I knew if I said one more word, he would have kicked me out. And he knew if I said one more word, that he would kick me out, right? So it was like that moment. So I went and I used the restroom. I came back, I apologized. And he actually apologized. And it was one of the first times that he ever said, I love you. And they just said, we're scared. And I said, I'm scared too. I just need you to believe in me. And they said, okay, we'll take the risk, because they knew that I could come back home with my tail tucked between my legs, right? And I never needed to. But that moment was where I broke one of the cycles of our culture, our family. And it's so much about service. It's so much about what my dad taught. Put your head down, do the work. Someone will notice you and they will reward you. And that no longer works, right? Now it's clamor for the best benefits and ask for that raise. And if you're not fighting for yourself, then nobody's going to fight for you, right? And so there's this like conflict that's constantly happening. But I think when I was called to do this work, someone said, you need to help the Asian women, the Asian leaders. And I said, well, I can help some, but everybody has to help themselves, because some of the limitations I passed, I didn't even realize, right? So I can help some of that. But there's other limitations that I have on my upbringing, my awareness. And that's where a coach comes into play, because you can't see the blind spots. Someone else has to point them out to you, or you have to have, you know, an edge that typically gets hit pretty hard. So that's my story, is for all of us who don't know what's limiting us or can't see past it, grab that edge, hold on to that edge, and just like break it down or tiptoe past it, or find someone who will say it, you know, let me lead you. Because that mentor that helped lead me and show me a different path, the edge that you found in that moment, because your parents all want what's better for you than what they had, and take that edge inch by inch if you have to.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
All right, well, I think we have, thanks, Molly.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that because I
Martin, you were saying you can relate. Tell us how.
no, I mean, growing up in an Asian family, right? Like that samurai mentality is there, and you don't realize what those blocks are trying to grow, and you know, you're trying to develop yourself. But yeah, there's these invisible walls that you kind of keep running into, and until you, you know, keep processing and keep working at it, it gets hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to figure out.
yeah.
I think that's
just-
my
it just makes me think-
internet.
How many walls we're creating for our kids? Maybe we should get them through the program already, because we may be messing them up.
I'm probably doing both, but I'm boosting self-awareness. It's part of it.
Hey, Giselle, that's why I didn't have kids.
There you go.
I didn't want
There
to
you
mess them
go.
up.
Molly, I know, like everybody's talking and I'm like, because we all have those blocks, hence why going to a coach, like Sharon said, I mean, it's been life-changing for me. And that's because I help people with, you know, leaning into their magic and creating that message, right? But all of us need a coach to be able to get to the other side. All of us need somebody who's an expert in certain things that we need to nurture. And definitely clarity in a message takes you through. I mean, it's how you sit in front of, maybe your dream client is sitting in front of you that's going to change your life. And if your message isn't clear, they don't understand how, you know, what an asset you are, because you're nervous or it's all jumbled up. You just lost an amazing opportunity. So there's just a lot that we have, I feel like all of us have gained through going through this program. And I really, really hope that anyone listening knows that this is a free challenge. Click the link and just go register, because it's free. You know, we went through the same thing with Rise Up. We saw the opportunity. We did the 20, how many days was it, you guys, Boomy?
23.
23 days.
23 days without fail. Did any of us miss a day?
I jumped in late, but after I found it, yeah, I went and re-listened to everything and did not miss.
So this challenge is 9 days, right? Or 7 days?
7 days.
7 days.
We did a 23-day challenge. And so nobody should miss it. I mean, it really will. It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's transformational.
Well, and so that's what this week is we're doing mini chats so that you can hear messages from different voices, because it is about how your message matters and sharing your message out with your world, however small or large or global that world is. And we're here to support you. We're here to feed any information. Molly, there is a link that the team is putting or has already put in the chat. So this week is about the conversations so that you can get to know some of the faces in the community. And then next week is a challenge that is all about training and speaking into your life and your business and all the ways that you can empower yourself and get more confidence, more ease It's those things that you can't unsee or unhear, right? And that's what changes our world, is when your world gets bigger because someone just said something or showed something in that moment that you can't unknow. And that changed my world. Is now I'm an investor and I'm a coach and I am Ohana with all of you. And it's just those moments that you take advantage of. So yeah.
And
Did you have
Sharon,
any questions, Molly, or go ahead, Boomy?
I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. I think it's important to know not when the victory is not when it happens, is when the process of making it happen begins, right? And I know that prior to this moment right now, you've been working on getting that story you just told out in the way you just told it. So, and that in itself is a victory, right? Past whatever happens after this, with the challenge, just the victory, and you're telling your story, I think is really important. I think that for folks watching, it's really key for people to know that we miss so many opportunities to take action because we think we're going to get another opportunity. We're always saying next time, maybe next time, we'll do it next time. Instead of really, when that feeling kind of bubbles in your gut and you have that feeling, I want to act, and you don't act, that's a moment where you didn't birth something that was inside of you. That you lost something in that moment that you could have birthed and you could have built in that moment. So like me, paralysis is real, like saying, really like avoiding the moment is real. But I think that we're all testaments to say that when you grab the moment and you really hold on to the moment, you have community that can really help you to build what you think you have inside of you and what you also can create inside of you. So it's amazing.
Love that, Boomy. And I'll just say, embrace the birthing process, right? But embrace the journey up to the process. My wife's going to be due in December here, right? There's a whole journey that we have to embrace before we give birth to our dreams and our visions, right? So embrace that cross. It's uncomfortable sometimes. It stretches us sometimes, but we got to get out of the comfort zone if we want to give birth.
Caleb's got the sympathetic weight that he's putting on and stretching.
Thank you for the reminder, Caleb, how much we stretch. Molly, you know what? You're smart, Molly.
I am just so grateful that it's you all and not us guys. I mean, you're remarkable. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I have to celebrate my husband because he was up on every feeding and change, and that partnership is critical. So kudos to you as well, Caleb. And tomorrow we're going to hear Caleb's message. So same time, Molly, if you're available to jump on just for half an hour of storytelling and inspiration, or tell people, because we really want to share our community and our messages and support you as well, because you are amazing. I was going to say a different word. Molly's badass. Let's just say it. She's badass.
Thanks, Sharon.
And thanks to
gonna
all our
join just for
Facebookers
that.
tuning in.
I'm going to tune in just for that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
This
Well,
was
thank
great.
you. Thank you. And to all of you guys watching later, message us, connect with us, or jump on tomorrow. Caleb sharing. And then who do we have after that? We have Giselle, and then we have Boomy next, or Martin next, and then Boomy's bring us home for the week.
Nice.
Exciting.
Thank you guys. All right, we are up. Aloha.
Aloha.
Wow.
I am stopping live. I don't know how to stop live.